Hello, everyone. This is Jeremy Lee speaking. I hope you're having a very great afternoon. This is me presenting for the Module 7 assignment. For this assignment, we were asked to identify 5 to 8 sentences or ideas from the text or from our other sources that made an impact on us. And so I'm going to actually rank mine from number 5 to number 1. So I hope you all enjoy. Here we go. So from number 5, I really enjoyed I have notes for the record as well. Number 5, I really enjoyed the article. It depends what you study, not where you study. I think that article spoke to a lot of things that we kind of already knew, but it definitely did stick to me a lot for the fact that we've noticed over the years that you have to look at like the type of degree that you're getting and see exactly what your return on investment is as it comes to funds. I realize that people who major typically in sciences and nursing are still going in that category to limit more than those who major in liberal arts or humanities degrees. That's not changed in quite a while, honestly. But I did find it interesting to kind of look at that article and kind of think that, what that implies for our programs and for our schools. And I think we're seeing the overall trend. A lot of times schools are investing more in those areas. My undergrad institution, Winston-Salem State, was an HBCU that focused a lot on nursing. It has a very large number of nurses that pass their certifications every year. And as a result of which, you find more appreciation for those buildings on campus that receive more sources first. Those faculty are paid more than other faculty on campus. And a lot of times those students are appreciated or they receive more benefits than we do as liberal arts majors at the institution. So that article definitely kind of spoke to some things I already knew about. I definitely did find it interesting. It made an impact on me to actually read that and see that it's not just a Winston thing, it's an all over kind of thing. So that was my thoughts on the first article, number 5. Going on to number 4, the fourth article that I found interesting was the Mintz article that spoke of the future of higher education, and I really found a portion there about corporate universities really interesting to me. To me, I think the thought of like corporate institutions kind of having institutions, corporate jobs having institutions were very interesting to me. I always knew that like there was McDonald's University where managers were required to go to McDonald's University and learn. I knew there was an Olive Garden institution in Italy where they had to go over and learn how to cook in an Olive Garden over there. And I always did think it was kind of interesting and cool because in my mind, I just imagined an entire week of fun with Ronald McDonald, and it's kind of fun to me in my mind. But to actually look now as a aspiring higher ed administrator and think of what that means for a college, I could see the confusion being that anything we're not able to offer them something that they're looking for there. I could see that being something of concern there. So looking at it now, I definitely realize it kind of challenges the existence of our higher ed programs, of our higher education institutions, exactly what we're offering our students if we can really truly raise and prepare our students for success. Once upon a time in the 80s or early 90s, if you go to college, you got a 4-year degree that showed that you could do well in any job you put your mind to. Now you'll find that students are having to go to grad school, like we are now, or we're having to get additional certifications to prove that we can do the jobs that we need to do. So I think it kind of tells a lot about it. However, I do believe that with corporate universities coming along, it's a great time for institutions to kind of show their worth. And I think oftentimes liberal arts and humanities degrees are a very great time to show that our students are still able to be successful by acquiring a degree here versus a corporate institution. So I think that's kind of how we need to do. And I think that also speaks to us having a need to rethink the way that we do business. I think realizing how we do education, what we do well. I think higher ed is some time for a reality check of what we really need to be working on. So with that in mind, that's my fourth topic. The third topic I was going to touch on was the digital degree. The digital degree was definitely interesting to me. I believe that mass open online courses are very interesting to me in my mind because I just can't imagine like being able to go register online for a free class. So the thought of it is quite awesome to me that I could be a student at the University of Pennsylvania and Arizona at the same time because I did the class for free. And also to acquire really good knowledge from a really great professor is awesome as well. So I do believe that for such reasons the MOOCs will continue to increase in popularity. I do believe the students will continue to be interested in those and to register for those all around. They're not going anywhere at all. I do think that that's going to require us to look at the higher ed and see, and I do our colleges need to prepare to have those kind of courses. What can private schools do to get in on the action as well? Because it has to be just a larger research school to have these things as well. Because if not, we're going to lose some schools in the process because students will not be interested in going there. But I do think that while it's happening, I find my concerns because I feel like MOOCs are very great because you're looking for these kind of things and then to excel and to get and acquire more knowledge. But I believe that you lose in the holistic education that happens at a college or university. Even if you're doing an online class at the institution, that's still some form of learning that's more than just focusing on what you need to know and the skills you know for a job. You get an opportunity to really learn more about everything you need to be successful in life in a holistic education. realm, if you will. But of course, in my mind, I've done that already, so that's why I like it. But I think that's a better way to look at our mind. So I do think that while MOOCs are great, they actually stifle your success. They limit what you can do because you're really focusing on something that's only needed for a job rather than for what you need to do to broaden and expand your own realm of knowledge. For me, if I knew I wanted to be in higher ed or be a teacher, I could have done student affairs 101 in college and I've been successful. But because I wanted to be a college student and be a college graduate, I had to take those biology classes. I had to take those psychology classes, the classes I didn't technically need because they helped me to expand who I was. So that meant a lot to me to kind of read that article. Going from there, number 2 for me was the 5 bold predictions for the future of higher education. 2 things caught me there in that article. I think that it spoke to how higher education will need to explore new funding models. That's a big thing to me. I think especially looking at how we're embracing the idea now, especially in North Carolina, that the state is funding less when it comes to our institutions and even looking to shut some down. A few years ago, they made an idea to possibly merge or close some institutions and a lot of those were historically black colleges and universities. As a graduate of HBCU, my school was on the list of the ones that would be merged or shut down. And it was very frightening to me to think that my school would no longer be able to fund it, to be funded by the state. But it did call to attention that we need to find our own ways of giving. And since that time, WSSU has doubled its amount of money from alumni donations, as well as find other corporate sponsors as well. I think this passion has to be found all over higher education. We have to find new creative ways to fund our programs, new ways to get money into our schools, and to make sure the money lasts longer. We can get the money, it's all good, but how do we continue that the money stretches, every dollar matters in our system? And it requires us to be more accountable even for what we have, be good stewards of our money. We realize that state institutions, you do have a responsibility to uphold the state's money. It's the people's money you have to look after. So it's important that you do that well, in my eyes. And so I think that article was very great because the predictions that we will not be able to last long throughout these issues. But if we do take the knowledge we have now and apply it, I think we'll be able to make it past our issues and do well. Leading me to number 1. Number 1 for me was the Forbes article on the scary economics of higher education. Throughout last year, my foundations course, I read a book entitled College Unbound, and I watched a video on CNN that was signed at the Ivory Tower, and both talked about an issue that this article also touches on as well, discussing New College and how New College was having issues with like how they created this very fantastic institution. It's a high rise in New York City, but the students have to enroll there and pay a lot of money to fund the idea. And this kind of goes with my concern of higher education. Have we really outspent our resources? Have we really kind of stretched past what we need to have? Are we really on an amenities race? You have schools that are like trying to create the best student center they can find. Rock climbing is the kind of thing they discuss in Ivory Tower, how they discuss how schools build these new rock walls and the direct centers, and they do these great things. Like how High Point University gives free dry cleaning students and things like that, and they pay for it, and their tuition is very expensive. No offense to any High Point University graduates in the room. I think it's very important that we look at the fact that we're outspending our resources. Is this really needed to acquire a higher education degree? Is this really needed to acquire your 4-year degree? And then from that point forward, we have to realize that if our students can't afford to go to our schools, then we don't have the kids to go there, and so they'll shut the schools will shut down. And everyone seems to be tightened when it comes to funds and wallet money, so we had to be more cautious on those kinds of things like that. So that's just a little snippet of my feelings on that first one. I could really go for a while on that. It's my favorite topic to discuss in higher ed. But I definitely enjoyed this class so far. I definitely enjoyed these 5 readings. They've meant a lot to me so far. They've definitely shown me that our system itself needs work. It's not failing, but it does need work. And if we're not careful, we're going to finally see our system is going to continue to crumble, and we're going to have to be cautious on where we go from there. So thank you all. Hope to hear your thoughts on my topic. Have a good afternoon.